Hello, everyone, and welcome back to another edition of PSP's Upset Pick of the Week. I am Streak Setter, and first off, I'd like to say I apologize for not putting out a video for the last 2 weeks, but things come up. It's been a little hectic. So tonight, what I think I'll do is instead of giving one upset pick, I'm going to give two upset picks to try to make up for the last 2 weeks. So without further ado, the first pick of the night, I'm looking at Duke versus Miami. Duke right now is getting 3.5 points at home, and I think that they're going to win this game outright. Duke has been awfully hot of late, winning their last 5 in a row, while Miami, well, they're trending in the wrong direction. They've lost their last 2, and they didn't just lose their last 2. They lost their last 2 badly. Miami last week against Virginia Tech, without Duke Johnson, had a total of 28 rushing yards. That is not going to get it done. And their defense gave up 549 yards of offense. I also think that Stephen Morris, their quarterback, he's still not healthy. If you've watched him play lately, his ankle is affecting him. He has almost zero mobility, and the other teams know it, and they're taking advantage of that. And he can't beat you on his arm alone. He needs to be able to run. A couple of interesting things like opponents for Miami. The biggest one is obviously Virginia Tech. A few weeks back, Duke beat Virginia Tech outright 13-10, and we all know what happened last week, the beatdown that Virginia Tech put on Miami at home. I just have a feeling that this team is young. They've lost a couple games, and they're going in to play a veteran Duke team that is hot, that is hungry, and this is probably the biggest game Duke has ever had in school history. And this is a chance for them to, prove themselves to the world that they're not just a basketball school, that they've become a football school too. It's going to be hard to do. I know Miami has dominated this series. They've won 8 in a row against Duke, but I don't think they get it done this week. A couple interesting facts about Miami for another trends that are going the opposite way. In the first 6 games this season, Miami only allowed 26 third down conversions. In their last 3 games, they've allowed 27 third down conversions. Their defense is going the wrong direction. Their offense is going the wrong direction. And I think that they're going to lose this game outright. So take Duke, money line it. That is the first upset pick of the week. The second upset pick of the week, we're going to go out to sunny Southern California, where I think the USC Trojans are going to upset the Stanford Cardinal. Tough spot for the Cardinal, coming off of 2 huge wins. Last week they upset Oregon again for the 2nd straight year. I don't know how they do it, but they just seem to have Oregon's number. That spread offense doesn't work against that brute defense. They win all the battles in the trenches. Apparently Oregon had some injuries. Mariota was hurt. I don't know. They didn't look good. Stanford looked like the better team to me all night, and they deserved that win. But I think this is a very difficult spot for Stanford coming into this game. And, the Trojans under Ed Orgeron have looked pretty good. They could be 5-0. They're 4-1. The only game they lost was the Notre Dame, and they lost that game because they missed two field goals. The one question mark I have, Cody Kessler, quarterback against that Stanford D, I don't know how he's going to get it done. They're going to need special teams to overachieve like they did last week. They scored 3 touchdowns. They're not going to get that. But if they can get good field position, and their defense has been playing really, really well all season, I mean, this can be a grinded, pounded out game. Home field, they're getting 3.5 points. Stanford coming off of 2 huge wins. And if you look back, Stanford wasn't playing that good early in the future. They went to Utah. They lost outright. I think they're outgained by almost 210 yards by Washington. Barely pulled that one off. So Stanford they're vulnerable here. It's a tough position for them. They've owned USC of late the last few years, but I think SC pulls off the upset here. They knock off Stanford. Stanford controls their own destiny, but I don't think they get it done. Pac-12 is too difficult week in and week out, and I think the last few games have just worn Stanford out. I think the hot team wins here. I think the Trojans take down the Cardinal. They end the discussion. Ohio State will obviously win because they don't play anybody, and they'll move into Stanford's spot. So good luck, and remember, you can see all of our plays at pointspreadplays.com. I am Streak Setter saying good night.